In this video we will discuss orthogonal complements, and now we define orthogonal complements. As I have told you that Banach space is give information about the length of a vector, but the Hilbert spaces give the information, a little bit information about the angle between the two vectors. So let us define firstly this orthogonal vectors. Two vectors x and y in a Hilbert space H are said to be orthogonal if their inner product is 0, and this is written as x per y. Now we have a famous Pythagorean theorem which says that in a right angle triangle, sum of squares of base and altitude, that is equal to sum of hypotenuse. Which means if x is perpendicular to the vector y, and x and y, let us say they are sides, let us say they are base and altitude of, if x and y are base and altitude of a right angle triangle, then the hypotenuse will be either x plus y or x minus y. That means Pythagorean theorem says norm of x plus y square is equal to norm x square plus norm y square. Similarly, norm of x minus y square is norm x square plus norm y square. So let us prove this. Norm of x plus y square, which can be written in terms of inner product as inner product of x plus y and x plus y. Then if we simplify this, we will get this, because these two factors, they will become 0, as by definition x is perpendicular to y, so inner product of xy and yx, they will be 0. So now we define perp of a set, perp of a non-empty set. Let S be a non-empty set of a Hilbert space H. Then we define S perp as collection of all the vectors y in H which are perpendicular to S, which means if y is perpendicular to all of the vectors of S, then we say y belongs to S perp. Now this S perp, this is actually a closed linear subspace of Hilbert space. So we have to prove this is closed. So let us take a limit point, and we will prove that limit point belongs to S perp. So if x is a limit point of S perp, then there is a sequence Sn in S perp such that xn converges to x. If xn belongs to S perp, then xn and y, their inner product is 0 for all y in S, which means limit is also 0, because this thing is true for each n. Xn is perpendicular to y for each n, so this limit is 0 for all y. That means this limit is 0 for all y, which means xy is 0 for all y, because limit of xn is x. So xy is 0 for all y in S, which means x belongs to S perp. So taking a limit point x in S perp, we have proved x belongs to S perp, so S perp is closed. Now we have theorem A, which says if M is a closed linear subspace of a Hilbert space H, and x is a vector which is not in M, and d is the distance from x to M, then there is a unique vector y naught in M such that norm of x minus y naught is d. Now we have previously proved a theorem. If C is a convex closed set in a Hilbert space H, and d is the distance from origin to C, then there is a unique vector unique vector y in C such that norm of y is d. So we will apply this theorem in proving this theorem A. So let us define C is x plus m. If C is x plus m and x is a vector which is not in M, and d is the distance from x to M, then it means d is infimum of dxy for all y in M. That means norm of x minus y. Let us say x minus y is z. Now because x is as such and y belongs to M, so minus y also belongs to M, so this vector x minus y belongs to C. So this is just infimum of norm z for z belongs to C, which means distance from origin to C. Now C, since M is a closed linear subspace of a Hilbert space, So C is also closed set, and every linear space is convex, so C is closed convex set. So we can apply that theorem, 52b. So by that theorem, there is a unique vector z0 in C whose norm is D. And then define y0 as x minus z0. Then y0 will be in M, and the norm of x minus y0 is equal to norm of z0, and then that is D. So this proves the existence of a vector y0 in M such that norm of x minus y0 is D. Now we prove the uniqueness. Let us say we have another vector y1 in M such that norm of x minus y1 is D, and we put this vector x minus y1 as z1, which belongs to C. Now since y1 and y0, they are different vectors, so z1 and z0 are different vectors, but norm of z1 is D. But we are saying that there is a unique vector z0, so this contradicts the uniqueness of z0. So there exists only a unique vector y0 such that x minus y0 norm is D. Then further, next theorem, theorem B, which says if M is a proper closed linear subspace of a Hilbert space, then there exists a non-zero vector z0 in H such that z0 is perpendicular to M. Now here M is a proper closed linear subspace. If it is proper, then there exists a vector in H which is not in M. Let us say that is x. Now take the distance d from x to M. Now by previous theorem, we have a unique vector y0 in M such that norm of x minus y0 is D. Now put z0 is x minus y0, so from here norm of z0 is D. Now this D is positive because x is a vector which is not in M and y0 is a vector in M. So their difference cannot be 0. That means D is positive, or we can say z0 is non-zero vector. We have to prove the existence of a non-zero vector which is perpendicular to M. So we will prove that this z0 is actually the required vector which is perpendicular to M. So to prove z0 is perpendicular to M, we have to prove z0 is perpendicular to all the vectors of M. So let us take any arbitrary y in M. Then for any scalar alpha, we start from here, norm of z0 minus alpha y, which can be written as, put the value of z0 x minus y0 minus alpha y. Then this norm is greater than equals to D because this vector belongs to M and this does not belong to M, so this is a non-zero vector. And secondly, D is the distance from X to M, so D is infimum of norm of D is infimum of all the norms of the type x minus y for y belongs to M. So this is greater than equals to D. And D is equal to norm of z0. That means norm of z0 minus alpha y is greater than equals to norm of z0, which means square of this is also greater than equals to square of this, which means this minus this is greater than equals to 0. So we will open it in the form of inner products. This is inner product of z0 minus alpha y with itself. Similarly, this is inner product with z0 and z0. So if we simplify this, then we get that these two quantities will be cancelled and rest are these. Now we put this alpha is equal to beta into z0 y. Now this alpha is any scalar. Let us say this is any complex scalar. So this complex number can be written as real into this inner product, which is a complex number. So we put alpha is equal to beta into inner product of z0 y for any arbitrary real number beta. And then putting here, we get this minus beta z0 y into z0 y bar minus beta bar z0 y bar z0 y plus beta square mod of z0 y square norm of y square greater than equals to 0. Now these two quantities will be same when we put alpha is equal to this. So this becomes minus 2 beta mod of this square plus beta square this square norm y square, which is greater than equals to 0. So now here we put A is equal to this mod square and B is equal to norm y square, and putting this we get minus 2 beta A plus beta square AB greater than equals to 0. So we take common beta A and get beta B minus 2 greater than equals to 0. Now since A is mod square of something and B is also norm square, so A and B are positive quantities. So if A and B are positive quantities, then we can see that this equation 2, this cannot be true if we take A is positive, because if we take A is positive, then for the small values of beta, because we are saying this thing is true for every real value beta, because we are saying this thing is true for any scalar alpha, that means any real beta. So for the sufficiently small values of beta for which this bracket is negative, this product cannot be positive. For the sufficiently small positive value of beta for which this bracket is negative, this product cannot be positive. So A should be 0. So if A is 0, that means inner product of z0 y is 0. That means z0 is perpendicular to all of the vectors of M, which means z0 is perpendicular to M. So now we know something about direct sum. If a space H is sum of two subspaces M and N, and M and N, their intersection contains only 0 vector, then H can be written as the direct sum of M and N. Because if they contain only 0 vector, this intersection contains only 0 vector, then every element can be written in the unique expression as sum of two vectors, one from M and one from N. So that will become direct sum. So the next theorem, theorem C, which says if M and N are closed linear subspaces of Hilbert space H such that M is perpendicular to N, then the linear subspace M plus N is also closed. This is easy theorem. This can be understood from book. So try yourself. Then the last and main theorem of this section, which says if M is a closed linear subspace, then H is M plus M perp. So our main motive to prove all these theorems is just to prove that for any closed linear subspace of a Hilbert space H, H always can be written as direct sum of M and its perp. Now because of these previous theorems, we can conclude that if M is closed linear subspace, then its perp, M perp, that is also closed linear subspace. And from the previous theorem, their sum is also closed linear subspace, M plus M perp. Now we have to prove H is equal to M plus M perp. So we have to prove H is equal to M plus M perp. Now suppose H is not equal to M plus M perp. If H is not equal to M plus M perp, then there exists a vector, let us say Z0, which is non-zero, such that Z0 is perpendicular to M plus M perp. This is by theorem B. Because if we have a proper subspace of H, then we can find a non-zero vector which is perpendicular to that space. Now this vector Z0 is perpendicular to M as well as it is perpendicular to M perp. So this Z0 belongs to actually M perp intersection M double perp, and M perp and intersection double perp, this is 0. So this is a contradiction because we have taken Z0 as a 0 vector which belongs to 0 subspace. So it means H is just M plus M perp. Now we have to prove these two spaces are disjoint in the sense they contain only zero vector in common, so that it will become direct product. And from the previous results we can say the M and M perp, their intersection, that is just 0, therefore H is M plus M perp.